What's your sign? I'm a Cancer. Body built like a dancer. That's actually a lie. I'm not a Cancer. I'm actually a Leo. I do have a Cancer Venus though. So. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Zhariya Smith and I typically make commentary videos just like this one. So, if you guys happen to like that or you just happen to like my gorgeous face, make sure to subscribe down below and hit the notification bell to get notified every single time I post, which happens to be on Mondays and on Fridays. I feel like that definitely was like not legible. Well, legible is like writing, but like audible. I just spitfire and I talk really fast sometimes. Either way, we have a new candle my mother graciously bought me. It is called, from the company, Sand and Fog, and this is Strawberry Mimosa. It smells like to be honest, it smells like a body wash that has like a slight hint of strawberry, you know? So we're gonna light it today, because I love my mom, so. Candle is lit. Give me your candle suggestions down below. I like candles from everywhere. I only get Bath and Body Works if there is a sale. But, you know, suggest me a candle. I might purchase it, I might not. Yeah. So today's video is actually brought to you by a subscriber of mine named Lauren Bingham. She asked me to make a video about the rise of horoscopes, and I actually have been thinking about making a video like this for a while, but I was just waiting for like the right time, you know, like I have a huge folder of video ideas that, you know, I gander out every now and then, and I'm like, I don't want to make this right now. But thank you, Lauren, for the suggestion for the video. I will absolutely make this video, and if you don't watch it, I will be very sad. I'm kidding. No, there's no obligation to watch the video. But a little backstory on me before I start. I, growing up, was obsessed with astrology. Like, I would go on girlsgogames.com and I would type in like my parents' like zodiac signs, and I would see how compatible they were, and then was shocked because my mom's a Capricorn and my dad's a Gemini. Pause for laughter, I know. But, so yeah, I used to do stuff like that. All of my crushes that I've ever had, I've always, you know, just been like, oh, what's your birthday? So I know their sun sign, though I did not know that, so like, it isn't your sun sign that just matters, but that's all that I knew as a young child. So I'd find out all my crushes' birthdays, and I would see how compatible we were, and I'd base our relationship off of that, which is really bad. I would say that 7th grade, which is when I got an iPad for school, I had like a horoscope app that I would like look on every single day and like read my horoscope and find out like what my day was gonna be like. You know, and it's also really funny because I'm pretty sure that the day I got suspended, I didn't read my horoscope in the morning, and then I read my horoscope afterwards, and it was something along the lines of like, be wary of like authority figures. It was something like way on the nose of me literally getting suspended, and I thought that was really funny. But I will say that before I get into this video, I want to say that I am not the type of person that is going to say that you have to follow astrology and you have to, you know your astrological chart. And I'm not going to base my opinions on, well, I'll get into that later. But for the most part, I'm not going to base my entire life off of zodiac signs. I think that if you are a good person, chances are, you know, I will vibe with you. And I don't think that it's like wrong for a person to base their things off of astrology. You know, there are people who base things off of religion that they don't want to be friends with someone for, so why make fun of someone for astrology versus, you know, something else. My camera cut off in the middle of me talking, so that's great. But basically what I'm saying is that this video is not me trying to make you I'm not trying to force you to like learn about astrology. I'm not trying to make you like convert your ideas into astrology. This is a fun, cute little video on the rise of astrology, horoscopes, and spirituality on social media. So that's it. That's roll towel card, I guess. So, you might be asking me, Zhariya, the all-knowing one of this channel, what is astrology? And well, astrology is, there's a lot of definitions of it, but one of them is the study of the movements and relative positions of celestial bodies interpreted as having an influence on human affairs and the natural world. Kind of like how the moon affects, you know, people's emotions, like on full, and how the moon like will affect like the tides, because people's emotions will be higher on a full moon, you know, type of energy. It's like that stuff. Also on Wikipedia, it says that astrology is a pseudoscience that claims to collect divine information about human affairs and terrestrial events by studying the movements and relative positions of celestial objects. Celestial objects being like planets, not like celestial beings. Two separate things. Things we're talking about here. But when thinking about like the origins of astrology has been around like a long time. Like if you think about it, back in the days before they had like clocks and you know all that stuff, people base everything that they know about anything on like the stars and on, you know, the placement of the sun or the moon. You know, some people back then were stupid, like thinking that the new moon meant being like you have to sacrifice someone so that the moon or the gods don't swallow up the king. That was literally a thing, so they'd make a fake king sacrifice the fake king and then make sure the real king was safe. I don't know how that system worked. I wasn't there, so I can't tell you how that worked, but that seems really interesting to me. But Wikipedia says that astrology has been dated to at least the 2nd millennium BCE and has roots in calendrical systems used to predict seasonal shifts and to interpret celestial cycles as signs of divine communications. So many, you know, different cultures acknowledge, you know, the moon, stars, and astrology in general. Like there's the Hindu, there's like a Hindu zodiac, a Chinese zodiac. We have the Mayans, who also developed elaborate systems on celestial observation. So it's not like a new thing to look at the stars and be like, look at it, you know, and be like, that's kind of interesting, you know. In terms of Western astrology, which is, you know, kind of still in use, can be traced to the 19th and 17th century BCE Mesopotamia, and it also then spread to Greece, Rome, the Arab world, and then to Central and Western Europe. And contemporary astrology is associated with, you know, horoscopes, that, you know, put the aspects of a person's personality. I know the person you are because you are a Aries sun, Sagittarius moon, and a Capricorn rising, for example. So modern day astrology and westernized astrology as it is right now can predict a person's, you know, thoughts, feelings, how they go about things, their career paths, and many other things literally based off of their astrological chart, which I'm going to get into literally in like a minute. But yeah, it's basically saying that you can base a lot about a person's personality based upon where the planets are, but when you were born, which is why, you know, you need to know the time of your born specifically so we can know your rising sign. I feel like a lot of it's kind of the same if you're born on like the same day, but like some stuff may fluctuate. Either way, an astrological chart is essentially, in my head, and what I remember hearing on someone's TikTok saying was that an astrological chart is essentially like your thing. It's like a snapshot of the sky when you were born. Kind of interesting, isn't it? So I'll put a picture of like I'll put a picture of an example of like some random famous celebrities' astrological like charts. You can kind of see what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's astrology kind of, and that's like what an astrological chart is. Next we have to talk about horoscopes, and I know horoscopes and astrology go hand in hand, but I feel like I have to like talk about horoscopes separate from astrology because astrology is the study of something, whereas horoscopes are what we use to interpret astrology, if that makes sense. So a horoscope is said to predict a person's future, typically including a delineation of character and circumstances based on relative positions of the stars and planets at the time of a person's birth. So what I understand kind of with horoscopes is that which is why I feel like it has to be more than just like your sun sign, and I'll get into that literally later in the video. But I feel like a lot of the times people will say like, my horoscope isn't right because you base it off of your sun sign. But if you think about it, you have a whole chart. We see horoscopes on many different apps. Personally, I like Sanctuary, Nebula, Daily Horoscope I used to use when I was in middle school, not so much anymore. And these apps will look at your whole chart generally, and they'll be like, okay, like for instance, Sanctuary will tell you, they'll read your horoscope based on your sun sign and then based on your rising sign, which I think is pretty interesting. Nebula also will take into account your whole chart as you're getting your horoscope, and it'll tell you things like, oh, you should get your hair cut during this time because this would be a good time for you. Interesting stuff, you know. We also have apps that use your astrology chart to connect to other people. Like we have CoStar, and a newer app that I personally love. This is not an ad for them by any means, but there's this app called The Pattern that looks at your chart, and it's not going to be like, oh, you're a Leo, so you're going to be like this. Like, no, it tells you like based upon the movement of the stars and based upon like your chart, these are some things that could be happening to you within the next, year or so. And I like it a lot more because on The Pattern, it tells you like in cycles. So it'll be like, oh, there's a cycle between like June 1st and August 2nd. And during this cycle, we're seeing the planets moving a specific way. And because the planets are moving that way, that means you could have a change in your home life. Stuff like that, which I feel like it's a lot better than like being like, today your crush is going to ask you out, type dumb stuff, but a horoscope, there's when I went on Wikipedia and I searched stuff like the meaning for horoscope, it said there are other commonly used names for horoscopes in English, including the natal chart, astrological chart, astro chart, celestial map, sky map, star chart, cosmogram, vitasphere, radical chart, radix, chart wheel, or simply chart. But horoscopes are an astrological chart or diagram representing the positions of the sun, moon, planets, astrological aspects, and sensitive angles at the time of an event at the moment of your birth. And the horoscope derives from the Greek words aura and skopos, meaning time and observer. And it's used as a method of divination regarding events relating to the point in time it represents and forms the basis of horoscopic traditions of astrology. Had no idea what that meant, what I just read out loud, but we live and we learn, But basically, horoscopes are based upon the astrologer's interpretation, and I, by the way, am not an astrologer. There are many other astrologers on the internet, on YouTube. A lot of it is based on your sun sign astrology, this is the position of the sun when you were at birth, and these are in, like, for instance, I'm a Leo, and Leo is between, I believe, July 22nd and August 22nd, so I know any person born between that, chunk is a Leo, for example. And in Chinese astrology, it's a little bit different. It's based upon like the literal year. Like it's an entire year is a year of something, and then it moves on to the next, which I believe is pretty interesting. Some people have debates on whether cusps are real or not. I don't personally care that much about stuff like that. And yeah, modern horoscope websites base their predictions on your sun sign, which is the main one you have, But I would like to say that I did some polls, which I'll get into next, but a lot of people were telling me that they felt like that horoscopes were too broad and that it didn't actually like represent them well, when like I feel like that it's because you're only looking at your sun sign. So with that said, if you would like to, contribute to my next video where I require polls or your opinions, follow me on Instagram at zhariyasmith_. I don't really promote my Instagram that much, but, follow me if you want. But I did a poll. I did multiple, actually, and I asked my followers, do you believe in astrology? And 59% of the answers said, or 59% of the people said yes, and 41% of people said no, which is pretty much almost like split in half. So then I asked, well, if you want to, reply as to why you do believe in astrology or you don't believe in astrology. And I'm going to read you the responses, because this is quality content we got here, baby. We're up in the production value. We're doing polls, research, the whole shebang. In the responses I got, because it's fun, because God made me who I am along with the universe and everything in it, we have, I actually don't know a lot about it. Someone says, I mean, look at me. She's a Taurus and I love her very much. Next we have, the sign descriptions just seem very brief and abstract, but it's mostly confirmation bias in my opinion. Another person said, she also said, I haven't done enough research to form a strong opinion, so I'm open-minded. We also have, I don't believe it 100%, but it's always been very accurate and helpful, even in my experience. Another person said, because anyone trying to explain why I do anything without knowing me is irritating, which is understandable. Then another person said, I'm more so agnostic. I could be persuaded either way, but I don't care enough to decide, LOL. Interesting. One person said, I've studied it, and the more I learn, the more makes sense. You start to see things lining up, which I honestly agree with. Another person said it's not consistent. And lastly, one person said, I don't like the idea of my personality or life being set in stone because of it. Also, even if I did, I'm a Pisces man and everything I see is negative anyways, LOL. Which, yeah, Pisces men are not a vibe, though I do not mind you. So that's very interesting to hear. I would say generally that I feel like the main thing is like, oh, it's too general, which in my opinion, look at things other than your sun sign. I feel like you'll find a lot more things interesting than that. Next I asked, do you know a lot about astrology or just your sun sign? And I realized after asking the question that I definitely asked 2 questions in one, but it was 72% yes and 28% no. Asked if you've seen Witch Talk or Spiritual Talk on your For You page, and 73% said yes and 27% said no. And then when I asked, basically if being on TikTok has made you be more willing to believe in astrology, these are my responses. So my friend said, F no, people on spiritual TikTok are weird and often don't know what they're talking about, which I agree. Another person said, nope. Another person said, I actually already believed in it before, but it's deep in my understanding and it's fun. Another person says, I don't really believe because I don't know that much, but TikTok made me more intrigued about it, which is interesting. Next we have, I got exposure to it via social media, but Twitter specifically, which is very interesting to me. Lastly, I asked on my Twitter, how much do you know about your astrology chart? And 44% said only their sun sign. 33% said their big 3. 11% said their big 6. And I asked if you knew your whole chart and houses, and 12% said that, which is very interesting to me. Now, with all that said, this segues into the rise of astrology on social media. So, Snapchat actually recently added a feature where you can add in your birthday and your birth time, and it will tell you your entire chart. And on top of that, it will tell you if you're compatible with people that you're talking to on Snapchat if they also filled out the feature, which I think is very interesting. You compare it with your friends. TikTok is so huge on astrology. There is a TikTok that I'm going to show you guys about. If you want to understand more about astrology, definitely look at this TikTok.
All you need to do if you want to be happy in this lifetime is go to astrocafeastrology.com. Put in your motherfucking information. If you don't know your exact birth time, that's okay. You're just not going to know your rising sign. It's what the fuck ever. Put your shits in. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to head over to youtube.com. You're going to search up Astro Finesse, Lil Finesse Jiggy Hippie. Yes, sir. He is going to tell you everything about yourself, and he's going to do it fantastically. He's going to tell you so much about yourself that you're going to wonder when he starts stalking you.
And I also haven't seen that YouTuber yet. I'll watch some of his videos for sure, but that's a thing if you want to know more about TikTok. I literally saw it today as I was getting ready to film this video, so I thought it was pretty interesting. But TikTok is very interesting because it'll be like, I know if you're a murderer based on your zodiac sign, or like, oh, you're crazy if you have these in your big 3.
If you're on astrology TikTok like myself, are you also confused about this trend that's like, they have deep-seated insecurities about their childhood when they have these signs in their big 3. Aquarius, Libra, Scorpio, Gemini, Pisces, Aries, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Virgo. So everyone...
Which is your sun, moon, and rising. I realize I've said big 3 like 20 times in this video and I never said what that is. So it's very interesting to me. People will be like, well, I know everything about you because of if this is your placement or whatever, and it'll be so many things that are based in actual fact, and then other things that are just crazy. But I will say that TikTok definitely has opened my mind and me seeing a whole lot more. Also, the fact that the astrology chart that we use now is not the only kind out there, which is also pretty interesting. I'd also really quickly want to add on this section, this is going to be a really short section, but like, when you think about, I call it the astrology to witch pipeline, and specifically because for me, I'm not a witch, literally at all. But it's very interesting to me when I think about people will be like, I saw like astrology TikToks, and then I watched more of those. Then I started seeing tarot card TikToks, and then I started seeing crystal TikToks, and then I started seeing the thing where they take the 2 candles and then burn it with like the string between. I'm not going to show you because that's literally witchcraft. I'm not going to put that on my channel, but stuff like that. And then finally you become a witch. I've seen so many people on TikTok become witches over, quarantine, which I think is very interesting to think about. This is a moment, ladies and gentlemen, where I get to talk about myself. I'm going to tell you guys what my chart is. So I am a Leo sun, a Virgo moon, and a Capricorn rising. That's my big 3. Along with the big 6 comes my Virgo Mercury, my Cancer Venus, and my Sagittarius Mars, and that's my big 6, including the 3. Now we have, I am a Cancer Jupiter, a Gemini Saturn, a Uranus Aquarius, which is funny that rhymes, a Neptune Aquarius, a Sagittarius Pluto, and I have a Cancer Descendant, which I don't know what that means, but that was on my Sanctuary app when I was, looking at this, which is pretty interesting. Also, my midheaven is Scorpio, and my Imam Kohli is Taurus. Also, don't know what those 2 things are. Next, I have my houses. Now, my first house is Capricorn, my second house is Pisces, 3rd Aries, 4th Taurus, 5th Gemini, 6th Cancer, and 7th Cancer, 8th Virgo, 9th Libra, 10th Scorpio, 11th Sagittarius, and 12th Capricorn. There are 12 houses. I'll put like what those mean to the side. But yeah, that is my astrology chart. Feel free to judge me in the comments below. DM me on Instagram and tell me everything that's wrong with me. I actually love hearing stuff like that, so please tell me. I'd love to know. That's my cat meowing in the background, if you can hear that. But to wrap everything up, why I think specifically astrology and spirituality and horoscopes have become so popular during the pandemic is because I think people are really bored. And actually on my Instagram, I also really quickly asked if there was anything else that they wanted me to bring up in this video. And specifically, I got a comment that said, maybe we have seen the rise given the fact that people want to have hope / sort of escapism. So I actually completely agree with that 1,000%, because I do think that people in general, being in the pandemic, and if you actually care about the pandemic and you weren't going out and all that stuff, you were kind of home, and a lot of people were unemployed. A lot of people still are unemployed, and you're like, you go on TikTok and you see something that gives you some sort of hope, something to grasp on, and that just happened to be astrology. Other people have grasped onto interior design, DIY crafts, and so many other things. So it's not just, solely about astrology and crystals and all that stuff. I think that it just provides a sense of security for people who are going through such hard times. I feel like people are trying to find a purpose and something to do, and like, it's not like, in the same essence of my video about Disney adults, like, you're not hurting anybody by doing something that makes you happy. If something gives you security and makes you feel better, do it. It's not causing harm to other people, Like, I feel like it's also, like, whenever people ask, like, oh, like, what's your sign? Like, it's literally the equivalent of asking someone what their Myers-Briggs personality type is, which I'm an INFJ. Or asking them their temperament. I'm chaotic good. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm chaotic good. There are so many other personality tests that you can get. People ask you, like, oh, what anime character are you like? And it's like, oh, I'm like, who am I like? I can't even think of anybody. Oh, Zenitsu from Demon Slayer. Like, I'm like him. Does that mean that, it's like, you just like to know people. You like to get to know other people better. And especially if a person has a sort of trauma associated with not being able to be understood, you want to grasp onto everything that could possibly make you understand another person, because no one did the same for you. type energy. But yeah, that's my video on the rise of astrology. Sorry about all the weird camera cuts and angles. My phone has been cutting off multiple times as I've been recording, which literally sucks. But I still want to give you guys this video, so it might be a little jumbled, but you know, it's all in good fun. But yeah, so make sure to like the video if you liked it down below. Make sure to leave a comment on your opinion, or let me know like your, you know, big 3 or big 6 or whatever you want to do. Make sure to subscribe because I really want to get to 3,000 subscribers. I know May's like almost over, but if you can get to that by the end of May, that would make me so happy. And I'll do like a live stream and celebrate with you guys after I post a video or something. But yeah, make sure to stay happy and stay healthy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye guys.